What's your reaction to Mike's comments?
Well, I agree with him, and I'm very disheartened. I want to emphasize that, or it's important to preface my comments by saying I didn't really know much about this subject until this morning when I woke up, and I haven't spoken to anybody from the league office, so I'm just reacting based off of what the sound that we just got from Mike Scott and what I read, but I haven't spoken to anybody about the NBA about this. I would tell you, here's where I'm most disheartened. Why is it that the NBA would come up with ideas for guys in like 15 separate categories, separate slogans, or whatever the hell you want to say, and have them pick from that? That doesn't speak to the issue. But more importantly than that, what I want to say to Mike Scott and all these NBA players who are hell-bent on having a voice when they go to this bubble, you know what? I said this to you, Max, before when I talked about symbolic gestures. I'm not trying to act like they mean nothing. Of course, it has its place. But when you talk about really, really getting stuff done, I don't give a damn about names on a jersey, slogans on a jersey. I don't care about acronyms on a jersey or anything like that. I don't care about Roger Goodell kneeling, with the NFL players if it came to that. I don't care about that nearly as much as I care about things like federal legislation to make the shooting of an unarmed black man by a police officer a federal hate crime. I don't care about that as much as I care about players collaborating with these high-powered white individuals along with lobbyists to go on Capitol Hill and to legislate laws. I don't care about that as much as I care about finding out who are the companies that blacks patronize and who pour money into the sport. Ask them what they're doing for the black community and see if you can partner with them to create more opportunities for those from disenfranchised communities throughout every single NBA city that exist. I care about that far more than I care about symbolic gestures. But I will say that the NBA, if it's true what Mike Scott said, and I don't know that to be the case, but if it's true, and they basically just gave them choices and stuff like that, that doesn't necessarily fly. That's not a good look. And oh, Molly, as an aside, I would also say I'm hearing a lot of rumblings. A lot of people have reached out to me over the last 24 hours talking about how the NBA players themselves are treated vastly different than WNBA players. A lot of people in the WNBA, I'm hearing some noise about the treatment that they're receiving. The hotel rooms might be fine, but the laundry facilities and things of that nature,
picture.
It's like considerably less than what NBA players are being treated like. These kind of things will be very problematic for the NBA, because when you say WNBA, it's not like people are going to separate that from the NBA when it comes to something like this. It's going to be all intertwined. So the NBA might need to be aware of that and make sure they address that quick, fast, and in a hurry, because there are rumblings that are proliferating.
Not surprising and not okay.
I disagree about this.
Max?
I would say that you and I emphasize different parts of this, Stephen A. So not so much as that we disagree. I think that symbols can be powerful and are important, but not if the addressing of those symbols is used as cover for not changing systemic problems. Not if what you talk about, this becomes a federal hate crime. Even if that legislation was passed, that meant no real criminal justice reform or conditions of parole, being addressed, things like that. Because the industrial prison complex is a much greater issue, in fact, in terms of social justice than simply police brutality, right? But one is an emotive kind of issue and a surface issue, and the other is more important and systemic. So insofar as symbols and names on jerseys and all those things are cover for not really making change, then you and I agree. But I do think that they can be powerful messages socially that can lead to change and also sometimes reflect a change happening underneath. So again, I would just emphasize a different part of that. And in terms of Mike Scott's specific kind of grievance here, I would say it's analogous to what I just said. It's good that the NBA is saying, hey, you can put messages on your jerseys. But if by selecting from a pool of pre-approved messages is a way of actually controlling what the NBA players say, then that's not as good. If that's a way of co-opting a movement rather than really being allied with the movement, then that's not as good. And then Mike Scott has a point.
And listen, I don't disagree with Mike Scott, right? If that's true, right? He has a valid point. But my thing is not what you do, it's how you do it. And much credit to Adam Silver and the NBA because they have relentlessly been working hand in hand with the Players Association and Chris Paul and Michelle Roberts. Something that I've never seen in my 17 years of being around the NBA. Now, with that being said, my thing is to Mike Scott is call the Players Association, get Michelle Roberts on the phone, get Chris Paul on the phone, talk this thing through before you go out and make a public statement because I'm pretty sure Adam Silver and the NBA just didn't say, here's the list. No, they contacted the Players Association and they was working hand in hand. So if I'm Mike Scott, contact the Players Association and Chris Paul, man, behind the scenes and figure out what's going on and then voice your opinion. Because here's the problem that I have. It's been multiple years that I've went to, the Players Association meetings, and there's only been 5 to 10 guys in there out of 400 and whatever players, right? And all of a sudden, guys come out and be complaining about certain things that's going on, but then when they have their time to do so, they don't show up to meetings, or they don't reach out, or don't answer emails, or don't answer phone calls. So I'm not disagreeing with Mike Scott. I'm just saying it could have been handled differently. That's my only thing. And far as with the jerseys, hey, listen, the NBA is in a bad situation. Damn if they do, damn if they don't. I'm looking at it as it's a great starting point, right? They doing something to move forward. Now, is it the end? No, this is just the beginning, but at least they're trying to do something.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.